Welcome into the show, everyone. I'm your host, the Unhinged Father. Hope you're all having a great start to 2024 and that you're avoiding most of the plagues that have been just decimating our household out here constantly. We're going through another round of illnesses. Super fun, but we'll make it through, and our immune systems are just getting really, really good. So I wanted to kind of jump in just because the past couple of weeks I've been talking about how I've been having some trouble with starting off this year, not having energy, falling out of all of the routines that I've had. A lot of the progress that I feel like I've made, I've taken, 2 steps forward and like 5 steps backwards. So I kind of wanted to jump into a little bit of what I've been doing recently to get myself back into it. And this one is going to be, I always say that I'm not that fucking guru who tells you, make sure that you wake up at 3 and meditate for 7 hours and all that stuff. But one thing that I've really been finding that's been helping me is that I started doing cold showers again. And then luckily my buddy got one of those really fancy cold plunge things. So he was able to give me his old cold plunge. And so I set that up about a week and a half ago. I've just got to say that, man, it fucking sucks. Cold showers, cold plunges. Man, they suck. They're not fun. If anyone tells you that they like to do them, then run away because they're fucking insane. But I have noticed that, well, let's go ahead and kind of dive into it a little bit because I know that there's a lot of people out there, a lot of information that says like you're going to have this great rush of energy, where you're going to be flooded with all these great hormones and there's going to be all these physiological changes and you're just going to have this boundless energy. And I don't know if any of that shit's true. I've been doing it for about a week and a half now, and I was doing cold showers for quite some time. I have no clue if all of that shit is actually happening. But what I can tell you is that I've noticed a big change in my focus and just the ability to get hard things done, things that I don't necessarily want to do, and being able to tick those things off of my list. So, I'm not sure. I don't want to make like a direct correlation between the two, but so far in my experience, it's something that I think is making a difference. So let's dive in a little bit on that. So let's first kind of talk about the cold shower versus the cold plunge and what I've really noticed as being different here. So what I'm going to say is that the cold shower actually was a lot harder or was just a lot more uncomfortable, I'd say. You'd get into the cold shower and I would just go cold turkey, put it full cold. And just for context here, I was able to measure the temperature of the water and it was coming at about between 50 and 52 degrees. So pretty damn cold. Not ice water, but still pretty cold. The thing that was so difficult about it was that you never really got a chance for your full body to be submerged. And so you had parts of your body that were constantly being exposed to warmer air as opposed to in the cold water. And so it was like you never were able to get a chance to fully acclimate to the coldness and just like chill. You were constantly getting like that shock of having cold water splashed on a new body part. So that was one thing that I noticed and was actually kind of shocking because when I did the cold plunge, I got it down to about 48 degrees. So it was colder. It's outside, so it's cold outside. But once I actually got into the cold plunge itself, man, it was way easier. I could just like sit, chill in there, control my breathing. And yeah, it definitely felt like it was easier to do a longer amount of time and to actually get into the cold plunge as opposed to the cold shower, which was just completely counterintuitive to what I was thinking. That being said, when I got out of the cold plunge versus the cold shower, that temperature, your body temperature, man, I just felt cold for like an hour and a half. I'd get out of the shower and I'd be a little bit cold. I'd dry off, put my clothes on, but my body would kind of warm up. After getting out of ice water for 3 or 4 minutes, I just felt cold, like not shivering cold, but my body felt like I was chilled. Like I did it this morning about an hour ago, and I'm still pretty chilled right now, not feeling super warm, even though the room is nice and toasty. So those are kind of some of the things that I would say that I've noticed differences between cold plunge, cold shower, just in terms of like the physical aspect of it. Both of them had a benefit for me. Both of them helped me focus a little bit more. I think that there's research being done right now that shows the benefit of doing exposure to cold water. I'm not going to dive into all that stuff because I don't know all of the statistics. I don't know all the science behind it. I'm just going to talk a little bit more about my experience and ways that it's helped me so far. So that's kind of just a little overview, differences between the shower and the cold plunge. And I know what you're saying. You're just like, why the fuck are you telling me this stuff? I don't care. I don't want to jump in a cold shower. There's no way in hell that I'm just going to wake up, subjugate myself to this horrible practice of jumping into ice cold water every morning. You're probably one of those people that's like, I want to wake up, have my coffee, fucking jump into a nice warm shower and just feel nice and comfy. And believe me, I don't blame you. I definitely was right there too. And there are definitely still some mornings where I wake up and I'm just like, I don't want to fucking jump into any cold body of water right now. I just want to turn on the shower to where it's steaming hot and I can just sit in there for fucking 10 minutes and decompress. The reason I'm bringing all of this stuff up is because I have been having trouble and have been struggling, concentrating, getting things done, doing hard things. Not going to lie, the year has kind of started off in a pretty shitty manner. And I'm trying to find a way to get past that and get back on track to have a productive year. The cold shower, the cold plunge, cold exposure has been something that I've seen that's actually helped me quite a bit. And I think that one of the reasons why it's helped me so much is because I'm starting off my morning by doing something hard. Something that I don't want to do. Something that, in all honesty, is fucking terrible. I don't like doing it. It's a lot of work to keep that cold plunge cold. I'm like freezing big ass blocks of ice so that way I don't have to spend hundreds of dollars on bags of ice. And it's a lot. And it's hard. And it's not comfortable. All that stuff. But I really do think that it's been helping out. I've been doing the cold showers again for about 2-3 weeks. And then the cold plunge for about a week and a half now. And even though my sleep hasn't been great, the kids have been sick. I've been sick. I'm waking up early again to try and make sure that I'm getting time for me. I'm able to do my reading, journaling, and do this stuff, the cold plunge and stretching. It's really just brought, I wouldn't even say like a sense of clarity. When I get out, I can still be a little tired. It definitely wakes me up. But reading and stuff, I feel more focused. I'm able to focus more on that stuff. When I'm creating my to-do lists, I'm able to prioritize a little bit better. And I'm able to get stuff done that I wouldn't do before. And part of it is I'm doing something to start my day that's hard. And I'm wiring my brain to say, like, hey, I can do hard things. Yes, it may suck in the moment. Yeah, it's going to be fucking terrible. But once I get it done, it's like, hey, I've completed this. I've done it. I've done something good for myself. And I feel like this sense of accomplishment. I think it's similar to like waking up and going to the gym early in the morning or waking up and going for a run. You're starting your day off with something that's productive, something that's going to set up your day for success. Now, is this a cure-all for everything? Is this going to make you Superman or Superwoman? Are you going to be able to write that novel you've been putting off? Are you going to be able to lift as much weight as you possibly can? Are you going to be able to, run faster than a speeding bullet? No, probably not. I mean, it's not a miracle drug. It's literally just some shitty ice and water that you jump into for 3 to 4 minutes or a cold shower. So it's nothing special, but I do think that there's a lot of benefit to it. So yeah, if you're someone who's had trouble with focus, setting and sticking to goals, prioritization, doing hard things, getting over the mental hurdles, I think that this could be something that's beneficial for you. I could be sitting here just talking to myself, which I am. I'm just sitting in my office, sitting here talking to myself like I always do for my podcast. But yeah, if you're looking for something to change things up, something to throw a wrench in your everyday, I think you should try this out. Try giving it a chance. Try jumping in a cold shower. I would suggest doing that before you go out and get a big tub and fill it with ice and try and go 100 miles an hour straight into this cold water, cold exposure thing. Try a cold shower. Try and jump in. What I did first was I would start off with the hot water, and then at the end, I would just turn it down, do cold for a little bit. And then I eventually got to the point where I would just turn on the water and do cold water the entire time. And now I'm, jumping in a tub of ice. It's not for everyone, but if you are someone who is looking for something to change, something to help you out, try it out. Try doing a cold shower. I know what you're saying. You're fucking crazy. Don't want to do it. Fuck you. I get it. I get all that stuff. Don't knock it till you try it. And if you don't want to try it, no worries. Don't do it. That's kind of a little bit of my experience with this cold water exposure, I'll keep you all posted if anything changes, if I start to grow that third arm or just all of a sudden lose 75 pounds and get super shredded, or if I could start become invisible or shoot laser out of my eyes. Whatever superpowers the cold exposure is supposed to give you, according to some of those real fanatical people, I'll let you know once I get those, once my spidey senses start tingling. And just a quick example of how this has helped is, this podcast right now, waking up this morning and getting on here and doing a podcast. The last 2 weeks I'm finally getting over, I had like 3 weeks of a sore throat. And then as soon as I got over the sore throat, I just started getting super congested and got a little cough. And, my son had 102 fever on Monday, and we've just been decimated with illness this year. And so the last thing I wanted to do was continue to wake up early and try and get something out for the podcast. Like, I like doing this, but it's just been so difficult to actually sit down and find the time, put words through the microphone into the computer, and then do the editing for it. So this morning when I was getting up, was like, you know what, maybe I'll just sleep in. Maybe I won't get up. I was like, nah, but I don't want to miss the cold plunge. I want to keep consistent with that, make sure that I'm not missing that. And once I was able to get up out of bed and do that, I'm like, you know what, I should do the podcast too. I'm trying to stay consistent. And even if this isn't the best episode because I didn't put a ton of work in on the front end in terms of like writing out ideas, and it's just about, literally sitting in freezing ass water, I'm sitting down and getting it out. And I think that's something that we miss as a society, celebrating the little things, just getting stuff done, completing tasks, staying consistent. And that's something where I think that this cold exposure has helped me out quite a bit. So give it a shot, try it out. Let me know if you do try it out and if you notice any changes within your life. Now, kind of along the lines of productivity and cold plunge and all the other self-help bullshit that you guys are going to sometimes get from me, I did want to make a book recommendation. I'm almost done with it, but it's actually been a pretty helpful time management book. And I know that there's a ton of those out there, and they all say roughly the same thing, but this one's kind of written in a irreverent way. It's written by two guys from the tech industry and kind of goes into how to like structure your day, remain focused, and limit distraction, all of those things. So the book is called Make Time: How to Focus on What Matters Every Day by Jake Knapp and John Zeratsky. So sorry for butchering that. I'm almost done with it. And there have definitely been a few things that I've been incorporating within my daily routine that have truly helped me out in terms of like staying focused and staying on task. So maybe in combination with doing the cold exposure, some of these little tips and tricks that they have in here have really helped. And one of the big things they talk about is limiting distractions, just how all of the technology we have nowadays is geared towards just distracting us, pulling us in. And they actually worked for the tech industry, like I said. So they're well aware because they were developing all of these distractions. One thing I did do is I went on my phone and actually deleted every social media app, every streaming app, and I also deleted my email, which was just fucking nuts. I've had email on my phone, pretty much as long as I've had a phone and email. And I also deleted the web browser off of my phone as well. I'm really trying to not go on the phone as much. I noticed that my screen time was just like ticking up and up and up, and I was finding myself more and more distracted. Yeah, they just got some basic tips in there, and I'm following some of them, and shit, I've been able to cut screen time down to like almost like just an hour and 20 minutes a day. And a lot of that is just because I'm looking at the stupid monitor for my kids in the morning, just making sure they're not awake or they need help or something like that. And as I'm talking about that, my 1-year-old is staring at me through the baby monitor on my phone. It's 5:45 in the morning right now, and he's just sitting there staring at me because he doesn't like to sleep. He's an insomniac like his father, and he is going to be the death of me. Yeah, anyways. That's a recommendation for me. If you are looking for something this year to kind of either revamp or just a couple of extra tips to your productivity or time management, Make Time: How to Focus on What Matters Every Day. Definitely would recommend it. And that'll bring me right into the Unhinged rant this week. I'm going to keep this one kind of brief. It's a little political, but just kind of right in the middle of politics. You know, I see that we're heading into another presidential election, and I see that we are getting the rematch that no one ever wanted. We're going to get Trump versus Biden part 2. And I am just, well, it's funny. I'm actually looking forward to it for a certain aspect, which I'll get to here in a second. I just can't believe that this is, we're going to do this again. This is going to be it. This is the best that America has to offer, is 2 over 75-year-old men going at it. I mean, I'm done with politics in general. I don't trust any politician, left, right, Republican, Democrat, Green Party. It's all bullshit. They're all part of the same machine. Our binary politics, you know, this two-party system is definitely something that I see is an issue. It impacts the way that people think. Someone from, you know, another side or from a different political perspective may have a great idea, and just because it comes from that different side, you know, people polarize and then galvanize together and say, oh, fuck that, no, it's them, they're dumb, and they don't look at things individually. And I think that this upcoming presidential race is going to be just a great visualization of that. You know, you're either going to vote for, you know, basically a vegetable with Joe Biden, or you're going to be voting for someone who's a complete dick like Donald Trump. That being said, the one part that I am looking forward to is I think it's just going to be comedic gold. Donald Trump doing debates and doing all that stuff is just fucking hilarious, especially if you look at it from, I'm not entrenched in all of the politics like everyone. I don't follow the that trend that Donald Trump is actually Adolf Hitler reincarnate. So I'm able to just kind of watch it from this perspective that we're fucked no matter what. And it's just hilarious to watch him just sit there and shit on people sometimes. He's just like, I'll tell you what, Sleepy Joe, they're trying to keep me out of this election. They don't want me to come in because they know that I'm the greatest president who's ever been here. I would never say that I'm the greatest president, but there are some people that would say he's the greatest president. Am I the greatest president? I don't know. Sleepy Joe can't keep me out. Can't keep me out. We are going to come in and we are going to make America great again. And then you're just going to have some political commentator talking to him in some town hall, and she's going to say something that pisses him off. And he's like, you know what? You're a very nasty lady. I don't like you very much. Other people may like you, but I don't like you. You're a nasty woman and you're not my style. So, and it's just going to be that constantly. It's just going to be a shit show. It's going to be just like a Twitter or X battle back and forth constantly. And I mean, Joe Biden's not probably going to be doing anything. It's literally just going to be the Trump show. And then after all of that, it'll probably be another 4 years of Biden if he could survive all of that. So we'll see. I'm looking forward to it. Definitely hope you'll all join me when we get to this season of just getting 4 million fucking notifications in your actual mail, just like letters, billboards, you know, people doing fucking parades and stuff to get their name out there for these political elections. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to see what shitty choice we make next. And that'll do it for this week's episode of the Unhinged Father podcast. Hope you all enjoyed it. As always, if you enjoyed it, go on, follow me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Feel free to throw a review out there, unless you're going to give me a 1-star review. If you're going to give me 1 star, then like don't even bother. 5 stars only, because there are some people that would say, I would never say that this is the greatest podcast ever. But some people may be like, hey, this is the greatest podcast ever. Joe who? I don't even know who Joe Rogan is. Anyways, hope y'all enjoyed it. Hope you have a great week. And as always, be good, try hard, do your best.